Emergency responders entered a West Virginia home following a distress call. The child's body was emaciated and exhausted from lack of food and dehydration. As the investigation began to uncover layers of truth, it led to a story that outraged the community, a story of ignored warnings. Raylee JoLynn Browning was born on July 11, 2010, in the city of Beckley, West Virginia. Beckley, West Virginia sits in the Appalachian Mountains, a region known for its dense forests, rugged hills, and small communities scattered across the landscape. In many places in this area, homes are far apart, and the roads are small with very little traffic. West Virginia is also one of the states with higher poverty rates in the United States, especially in rural areas. This often leads to older housing, limited social resources, and child support systems that are sometimes overwhelmed or understaffed. Raylee was the daughter of Marty Browning and Janice Sellton Riston. From the moment she was born, her mother gave her a very special nickname, Sunshine. For Janice, the little girl was the brightest thing in her life. Raylee had strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes, and a gentle smile. People who met her often described Raylee as a quiet and soft-spoken child, but incredibly kind. She grew up in a large family with many siblings, both biological and half-siblings. Like many young girls, Raylee had very simple dreams. She once said that when she grew up, she wanted to become a teacher. Raylee loved animals, especially horses, and she always hoped that one day she would be able to ride one. She also dreamed of seeing the ocean for the first time in her life. The holiday Raylee loved most was Christmas, when everything felt warm and full of hope to her. But that family life did not last long. Janice began struggling with substance use. The relationship between her and Marty quickly became strained. Eventually, the two separated. Not long after that, social services had to step in. In September 2012, Marty and Janice returned to family court. After mediation, the court established a 50/50 custody agreement for Raylee. Under this schedule, Raylee would stay with her mother from Thursday to Sunday, and the remaining 3 days of the week she would live with her father. For the first few years, Raylee's life was divided between two homes. During that time, a new person entered Marty's life. Julie Titchenell, a single mother with 3 children. Marty and Julie's relationship moved quickly, and they soon moved in together. When Raylee was about 4 years old, Marty and Julie relocated to Mount Lookout, West Virginia, in Nicholas County. This move violated the custody agreement that had been established by the court. Marty did not inform Janice and did not provide the new address. When Janice tried to contact him to ask about her daughter, her calls and messages were ignored. Eventually, Janice did not see Raylee for 4 months. Because custody was still legally 50/50, Janice had to file a complaint with family court. Only through legal records did she learn where Marty and Julie were living. It was a house in Mount Lookout. Raylee began attending Mount Lookout Elementary School. Inside the house in Mount Lookout lived Marty, Julie, Julie's 3 biological children, and Julie's sister, Sherie Titchenell. According to testimony in court, Sherie was the primary caregiver for the 4 children, including Raylee. One of Julie's daughters said that Sherie particularly disliked Raylee. According to her statement, Sherie often hit Raylee with her hands or with household objects, sometimes shoving her as well. On one occasion, Sherie even pushed Raylee into the cat litter box that was kept in the hallway. Raylee was frequently punished, even when she had done nothing wrong. Inside that house, Raylee seemed to become the one blamed for everything. Julie's daughter also said that Raylee did not have her own bed. She slept on a mattress placed on the floor in Sherie's bedroom. Sometimes Raylee was even forced to wear pull-up diapers, even though she already knew how to use the bathroom. One night, the girl said she heard a loud noise coming from Sherie's room, where Raylee slept. Raylee disappeared from everyone's sight the entire next day. When she finally appeared again, She did not want to stand up and refused to walk. She looked sad and much quieter than usual. Sherie's only response was to say, "Suck it up, Buttercup." Eventually, the adults in the house took Raylee to the hospital. She had a fractured femur. When doctors asked what had happened, Sherie said that Raylee had kicked a wall and caused the injury herself. Sherie also told the doctors that Raylee was a difficult child who often had angry outbursts. But to the doctors, that story was not convincing. And this was not the first time Raylee had appeared at the hospital with suspicious injuries. According to records, from 2011 to 2018, Raylee had been taken for medical visits multiple times because of different injuries. These signs led doctors to report the case to Child Protective Services, CPS. An investigation began. Before CPS could fully look into the situation, Sherie had already prepared. According to testimony in court, she told Julie's daughter to lie if CPS workers asked about Raylee's broken femur. The girl knew it was not true, but she was afraid of Sherie. So when she was questioned, she repeated the story that Raylee had kicked the wall and injured herself. At Mount Lookout Elementary School, teachers began noticing that something was not right. Raylee often came to school with bruises on her body, and she was always hungry. When the school asked about it, Marty, Julie, and Sherie said that Raylee had an eating disorder. They also told the school that Raylee had mental health issues and sometimes put herself in danger. Those were the explanations given for the bruises and the constant hunger. But for some teachers, those explanations did not make sense. One of them was Carrie Silberty. According to Miss Silberty, Raylee was nothing like how the adults at home described her. In the classroom, she was completely normal, cheerful, and social like the other children. Miss Silberty also clearly remembers something else about Raylee. The little girl did not want to leave school. At the end of each school day, Raylee would often ask if she could stay a little longer. According to Miss Silberty, Raylee would cling tightly to her. The child would wrap her arms around the teacher's waist and lock her legs around her leg, as if she did not want to let go. Then Raylee said something Miss Silberty would never forget. "I love you. Can you be my mom?" For Miss Silberty, the message was very clear. Raylee did not want to go home. The teacher knew Raylee lived with her father, her stepmother, and her Aunt Sherie. The girl only occasionally saw her biological mother on some weekends. One day, Raylee came to school looking very sad. She told her teacher that she would not be seeing her mom anymore. According to what Raylee had been told, her mother no longer wanted to see her. Her mother did not love her anymore, and her mother was going to have a new baby to replace her. Those were the words an 8-year-old child believed to be true. Miss Silberty recognized this as a troubling sign, but she also did not want to pressure Raylee to say more. Besides constantly clinging to her teachers and not wanting to leave school, Raylee also had very unusual eating habits. At Mount Lookout Elementary, like the other students, Raylee was provided breakfast and lunch at school every day. But the way she ate made the teachers start paying closer attention. In August, during one of the hottest days of the year, Raylee still came to school wearing long sleeves and long pants. That caught the teacher's attention. One day, Miss Silberty decided to help her. She gave Raylee a t-shirt so the girl could take off the pink sweatshirt that she seemed to wear almost every day. When Raylee changed her shirt, Miss Silberty saw clear marks and bruises on the child's body. Afterward, Raylee returned the t-shirt and quietly told the teacher that she was not allowed to wear clothes given by teachers. After summer break in kindergarten, Raylee returned to school looking very different. She had clearly lost weight. Her eyes looked sunken with dark circles underneath. Her cheeks appeared hollow, and her skin was pale. Raylee did not look healthy. 3 months after starting first grade, Raylee suddenly disappeared from school. Marty and Julie withdrew her from public school and said Raylee would be homeschooled. The person helping with the teaching was a family friend named Len Castle. After that day, Miss Silberty and the other teachers never saw Raylee again. Not long after, Raylee was moved to another house in Oak Hill, West Virginia, in Fayette County. Her mother, Janice, did not know about it. According to later testimony from Julie's daughter, Raylee's life inside the house in Oak Hill became even more cruel. Every day, Sherie forced Raylee to walk back and forth down the hallway in the house from the moment she woke up until she went to sleep. On many days, Raylee was not allowed to eat anything. Raylee began sneaking out of her room at night after Sherie had fallen asleep to go into the kitchen to look for food. When the adults in the house discovered this, they installed alarms and locked Raylee's bedroom door at night. On one occasion, Julie's daughter saw Raylee drinking water from the toilet. According to her, the adults had refused to give the girl water earlier. Some reports also show that Raylee was sometimes denied water for several days. Testimony also described that Raylee was frequently beaten with various household objects. By the end of 2018, just days before Christmas, Raylee began to become seriously ill. According to Julie's daughter, Raylee lay on the floor for several days, and no one brought her food, water, or medicine. When Raylee said she was sick, Sherie told her that she was pretending and only looking for attention. By Christmas Eve, Raylee's condition had clearly begun to worsen. According to Julie's daughter, Raylee's breathing became very difficult, wheezing and rapid, as if the little girl was struggling to get air. Julie asked Raylee if she felt so sick that she might have to spend Christmas in the hospital. Raylee said yes and told them she wanted to go to the hospital. But no one took her. After many days of fever, difficulty breathing, lack of food, lack of water, and no medical treatment, Raylee's condition continued to deteriorate. On the morning of December 26, 2018, Sherie called 911 and reported that a child was having seizures. Emergency responders were dispatched to the home in Oak Hill, West Virginia. One of them was Angela Coleman, an EMT. When she arrived, she saw Sherie carrying Raylee out of the house. Sherie said that Raylee had fallen while stepping out of the bathtub. But when EMT Coleman looked at Raylee, the girl was unresponsive. Her body had turned a purple color, and it appeared that she was no longer breathing. When the emergency responders checked Raylee, they noticed unusual discoloration on her skin. One EMT lifted Raylee's shirt to place the defibrillator pads. Two responders began trying to revive her at the scene, but Raylee did not respond. Shortly after, she was placed in the ambulance and transported to Plateau Medical Center in Oak Hill, West Virginia. Raylee arrived at the emergency room at 11:55 a.m. The physician on duty that day was Dr. Dilip Gadara. The medical team immediately began emergency procedures, checking for a heartbeat, administering IV fluids, giving medication, and performing CPR. But Raylee's body was extremely cold, and the hospital equipment could not register her temperature. Raylee was not breathing and had no pulse. The medical team continued trying for several minutes, but every effort failed. 32 minutes after she was brought into the emergency room, Raylee JoLynn Browning was pronounced dead at 12:27 p.m. Afterward, the medical staff documented what they observed on the child's body. Raylee had multiple signs of both old and recent injuries. Those signs led the medical team to suspect that she had suffered severe neglect for a long period of time. The next day, an autopsy was conducted. Medical examiners had to answer the most important question: what had actually happened to Raylee? In the early stage, they could not immediately determine whether her death was the result of violence or natural causes. Because of that, the manner of death was initially recorded as undetermined. But the examination quickly revealed that Raylee was suffering from a very severe form of pneumonia. Doctors described it as necrotizing bronchopneumonia, a serious infection that causes significant damage to lung tissue. According to experts, the infection may have spread into the bloodstream, leading to sepsis. When that happens, the body can begin to shut down very quickly. The examiners also noticed that Raylee's lungs had already begun forming scar tissue, a sign that the illness had been developing for several days. In other words, Raylee had not been sick for just a few hours. She had been struggling with this condition long enough that any adult around her should have noticed. Doctors also explained that this type of infection can disrupt blood clotting, creating skin discoloration that may look like rashes or bruises. The medical report also documented another concerning detail. Raylee was severely malnourished. Her weight was below the 5th percentile for children her age. Experts explained that dehydration and malnutrition can make the body far more vulnerable to sepsis. During the examination of Raylee's body, the medical examiners also documented multiple signs of injury. Some of those injuries were not directly related to the pneumonia. These findings led investigators to begin asking serious questions about Raylee's living environment before she died. The autopsy results also revealed another shocking detail. Raylee's body contained traces of several powerful psychiatric medications. At just 8 years old, Raylee was reportedly taking as many as 7 different medications, drugs commonly prescribed for mood disorders and certain developmental conditions. What raised serious questions for experts was that there was no clear evidence that Raylee actually had those conditions. Some experts later suggested that these medications may have been used to control her behavior rather than to treat a confirmed medical disorder. Meanwhile, the circumstances surrounding Raylee's death led the Oak Hill Police Department to open a large-scale investigation. Investigators began examining every aspect of the child's life. Nearly a year later, the investigation reached a turning point. On December 9, 2019, Sherie Titchenell was arrested. She was charged with child neglect or abuse resulting in death, a serious offense under West Virginia law. Not long after, Julie and Marty Browning also turned themselves in and faced similar charges. Each of them was given a bond set at $100,000. After months of investigation, the Raylee Browning case was finally beginning to move toward justice. After the arrests, bond proceedings quickly followed. Sherie and Julie Titchenell, along with Marty Browning, later posted bail. It happened exactly 1 year after Raylee died. Meanwhile, the investigation itself faced several difficulties. Police Chief Mike Wiseman said investigators had to wait because Raylee's records from the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources had not yet been fully released. Another detail also drew attention within the community. At the time of her arrest, Julie Titchenell held the title of Oak Hill Festival Queen. After the charges became public, the festival organizers stripped her of the title. When the case went to trial, several family members took the stand. One of them was Angela Young, the sister of Julie and Sherie. Angela told the court that the three of them had asked her to lie. They wanted her to say that Raylee had been healthy during Christmas in 2018. Angela refused. She testified that she had not seen Raylee that day, not in person, and not even through a video call. At trial, Julie's daughter also took the stand. She told the jury what Raylee had endured inside that house. According to her testimony, Raylee was frequently treated with cruelty and neglect, basic needs that every child should have. Food, care, and protection were repeatedly denied. She said the adults in the house knew that what they were doing was wrong, but they continued anyway, until the day Raylee died. Medical staff who were present at the hospital that day also testified. They said Julie was the first to arrive at the hospital. When Marty Browning arrived later, he appeared shocked and deeply upset. But according to witnesses, Julie seemed unusually calm. She even asked how long the hospital procedures would take. This happened after she had already been told that Raylee had not survived. Several medical experts also presented their opinions in court. According to them, Raylee had been sick for several days before she was taken to the hospital. She showed clear signs of fever and severe physical decline. Dr. Alan Mock testified that if Raylee had been taken for treatment earlier, with strong antibiotics and respiratory support, she would have had a real chance of survival. Another detail also raised concerns among the doctors. According to Dr. Alan Mock, the caregivers had told a psychiatrist that Raylee engaged in excessive eating, but her medical records showed that she was severely underweight. Those two pieces of information did not match. Another expert, Dr. Joan Phillips, also testified in court. She is a pediatrician with 22 years of experience. According to her, Raylee's records showed signs of medical abuse. This is a situation where a caregiver provides false information to doctors, causing a child to receive medication or treatment that is not truly necessary. Dr. Phillips said that throughout her career, she had never seen an 8-year-old child taking that many psychiatric medications. According to the records, Raylee had been diagnosed with several different conditions, including autism, an eating disorder, behavioral disorders, anxiety, and ADHD. But experts believe that much of the information given to doctors may not have been accurate. During the closing arguments before the jury, Special Prosecutor Brian Parsons raised an important question, a question that this case continues to leave for everyone. In the closing argument, Special Prosecutor Brian Parsons presented a notable point. He told the jury that according to the medical evidence, Raylee may have died before the 911 call was made. He pointed to an important detail. When Raylee was brought to Plateau Medical Center, emergency room staff were unable to measure her body temperature. The hospital's equipment could not display temperatures below 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That raised a critical question. How could Raylee's temperature have dropped from a normal body level to that point in just a few minutes after the ambulance arrived? According to the prosecution's argument, this suggested that Raylee may have died earlier. He also reminded the jury of another detail in the case file. The last recorded words Raylee spoke were, "I want to go to the hospital," an 8-year-old child who knew she needed help. Parsons ended his argument with a direct appeal to the jury. He said Fayette County would be judged by how it treated Raylee after her death, and he finished with a simple statement, "Please don't let Raylee down." After 6 days of trial, the jury went into deliberation. In the end, they reached a verdict. Marty Browning, Julie Titchenell, and Sherie Titchenell were not convicted of child abuse resulting in death, but all three were convicted of child neglect resulting in death. The death of Raylee JoLynn Browning in the 2018 Raylee Browning case in Oak Hill, West Virginia, did not happen in complete silence. Before that, there had been many warning signs of child abuse and child neglect, from suspicious injuries and hospital visits to the concerns raised by teachers at Mount Lookout Elementary School and reports sent to Child Protective Services CPS. For many people who followed the Raylee Browning case, what makes this story so heartbreaking is not only the death of an 8-year-old child. What makes it even more painful is that there had been so many warning signs beforehand. Signs that, if they had been recognized and acted on sooner, might have led to a different outcome. On August 12, 2022, Judge Paul Blake delivered the sentence. Marty Browning, Julie Titchenell, and Sherie Titchenell were each sentenced to 3 to 15 years in prison. Under state law, all three could become eligible for parole after 3 years. But after the trial, one major question still remained. Where was the child protection system when Raylee needed help? Court records show that Nicholas County CPS had received multiple concerning reports during the time Raylee attended Mount Lookout Elementary School. According to teacher Carrie Silberty, she filed a report after Raylee suffered a broken femur. After that came reports about bruises and other signs of injury. Over a period of more than a year and a half, more than a dozen reports were submitted. But Raylee was never removed from that environment. And for many people following the case, that is the most difficult part of the entire story to accept. A system created to protect children failed to protect Raylee Browning in time. One of Rayleigh's first-grade teachers also filed another report with CPS. The reason was that she saw a hand-shaped mark on Rayleigh's upper arm. According to Carrie Silberty, many reports like that were sent. But she does not recall ever being interviewed by CPS about those reports. What she clearly remembers is that Rayleigh herself was interviewed by CPS at school. The interview was conducted by Joseph Soren, a CPS supervisor. After the interview, he gave his conclusion: "I do not believe Rayleigh is an abused child. I believe she is a targeted child, and I believe the children have been very well coached." Another CPS worker, Brianna Baker, also testified at the trial. She said she had participated in at least 2 investigations involving allegations that Rayleigh was being mistreated. According to her, those complaints were not substantiated. But when prosecutor Brian Parsons asked about the report concerning Rayleigh's broken femur, Brianna Baker said she had never received that report. That response left teacher Carrie Silberty extremely frustrated. She told the court that she did not agree with how CPS had evaluated Rayleigh's case. During the trial, a CPS worker was called to testify, but when asked about Rayleigh's case file, the person could not even provide basic details about the case. Meanwhile, an important change had happened before Rayleigh died. She had been withdrawn from public school and switched to homeschooling. From that point on, Sherie became Rayleigh's primary teacher. After that, no more reports were sent to CPS. A family friend, Len Castle, said she occasionally helped with the homeschooling. According to Castle, she did not notice clear signs that Rayleigh was being neglected. She said she had heard the adults in the house claim that Rayleigh had a habit of overeating. She also remembered one occasion when Rayleigh ate so much that she vomited and then wanted to keep eating. Castle also said that she was at the house 3 days before Rayleigh died. According to her, Rayleigh only had a mild runny nose, and she did not believe the child was seriously ill. After the case became public, the failure of the child protection system sparked significant debate. As a result, lawmakers in West Virginia proposed a new bill. It is called Rayleigh's Law, HB 4440. The bill aims to prevent individuals who are under CPS investigation from being allowed to homeschool children. For many people, it represents an effort to ensure that a tragedy like Rayleigh's will not happen again. In addition, the bill also proposes banning individuals with prior convictions for child abuse, child neglect, or domestic violence from participating in homeschooling. However, the proposal has not received full agreement. A national legal organization that supports homeschooling opposed the measure, arguing that it could affect the rights of lawful families. But the Rayleigh case also exposed a major gap in the current system. In West Virginia, people who homeschool children are not required to report suspected child abuse. Meanwhile, teachers and principals in public schools have a legal duty to report it. State law also does not require homeschooling groups to verify whether a child has been legally withdrawn from public school. That means in some situations, a child can disappear from the public education system without any monitoring network at all. According to Rayleigh's former teacher, Carrie Silberty, for many children living in dangerous situations, school can sometimes be the only safety net they have. On January 12, 2019, family members and the community gathered at Tyree Funeral Home in Oak Hill, West Virginia, to say goodbye to Rayleigh. The service was led by Pastor Richard Allen. Afterward, she was laid to rest at Lee Webb Cemetery near the town of Dothan. On Rayleigh's black granite headstone, a simple but meaningful image is engraved. A small portrait of her during a happier time. An image of Rapunzel, the Disney princess Rayleigh loved the most. And a line that reads, "Walk gently. My sunshine is resting here." To Rayleigh's mother, Janice, she had always been sunshine, the light of her life. After the funeral, Janice shared a poem by Liz Newman in memory of her daughter. The poem speaks about the pain of a mother who must continue living while her heart is still searching for the child who is gone. A love that never ends, a memory that will always remain, and a little girl named Raylee Browning, whom the world should have protected better. The Raylee Browning case. Oak Hill, West Virginia, 2018, reminds us that the responsibility to protect children does not belong only to parents or caregivers. It also belongs to schools, the child protection system, and the community. Whenever a child appears with signs of child abuse or child neglect, it should never be ignored. Raylee JoLynn Browning's story leaves many people asking a simple but important question. If a child around us needs help, will we notice? Because sometimes, a timely report, an adult speaking up, or a small act of care can completely change a child's life. And hopefully, after the Raylee Browning case, awareness about child protection and preventing child abuse will continue to grow stronger, so tragedies like this do not happen again. Please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join us for the next true crime documentary episodes, where every story is a voice for justice, for children, for child protection, and for a world where every child is safe, loved, and heard.